Welcome back to
the Alyssa Serena Show.
This is part 2 of my conversation with Alyssa. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome. I was here the whole time, but thank you for welcoming again.
To your own home?
Yeah, to my own home. Thank you for welcoming into my own home. I should be welcoming you.
Oh,
Thank you for joining me on today's Alyssa and Serena Show.
Yeah.
At my home.
Yeah, I'm pleased to be here.
Yeah, and welcome back to everyone who's listening who wanted to watch or listen to part 2. We're very proud of you for being here. So we're so excited. This episode's going to dive into so much goodies and so many amazing conversations.
We're going to talk about setting up SOPs in your firm, proactively delegating.
We talk about some seasons of life, just like how your business will go up and down and just the different seasons you'll be in and some of those examples of things that we've experienced ourselves. And also the lovely topic that Serena got so passionately involved in and really loved, which was all about advisory.
I know. You want to hear me like...
and her opinions.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
I got real passionate and
she got
excited about it.
Very
so
her face was
if you're into it, keep listening. There's going to be lots more laughs in this episode. And I even spring a fun little pop quiz and a game
at the
end of the episode. Yeah. So make sure you listen for all the details on that. And if you enjoyed these episodes, please, please, please share, tag us, share us on Instagram. And
share all the things. Also, just let us know. Maybe we'll start another podcast, just us two.
Yeah.
If you like it, or are we just being too egotistical? What is it?
Egotistical?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, ego-driven.
Yep, hard words
But
today.
I like to think that our conversations are very entertaining, so please confirm this with a 5-star review.
Yeah, with the 5-star review, plus tell us.
Yeah, all right, let's get into today's episode. Hey, and welcome to the Ambitious Bookkeeper podcast. I'm Serena Show, CPA, a mom of 3, and I've been running a virtual bookkeeping business from my home since 2017. You are in the right place if you are a bookkeeper, accountant, or an accounting student, and you believe and know in your heart that your purpose is bigger than sitting in a cubicle. If you're ready to learn some actionable tips and strategies for starting and growing your accounting business, then I hope you stick around. Oh, Harhar wants to say something.
Hello, I'm a dog.
What do you think about this season of your life, Harley?
He's like, that my mom should be giving me more snacks all the time.
He's like, I'm tired.
I want to go to bed. Okay, bye, Mom. We're busy being busy moms. I'm sorry. Like a dog mom, Avi. Hello.
All right,
back.
We're back, part 2. And we're talking about this seasons of life. I don't know where you were going with that, honestly.
Oh, I'll take over because I remember. And I usually don't remember things.
Okay.
So just for anyone who just kind of joined in on the episode and you have no idea what we're talking about with part 2, there is a part 1 to this episode, which would most likely 99% will be aired before this one.
It hopefully 100%. Is, Ian. Calling you out, man.
Yeah. So anyways, so if you want to catch part 1, we kind of just talked about a lot of just how we met, what's going on in our lives, how to get really motivated back in the business when life kind of hits and all the things. We talked about what we would do different in the business, and now we just kind of wanted to let it flow while we're here in person and just kind of keep the conversation going. So if you want to catch that, we're not going to brief you a little bit more, so just kind of go back and watch that episode. But we're going to kind of take it from here. So where we left off on the last episode that we got together, or part 1, I guess, is what we're calling it, is we were talking about the different seasons of life, of like really where I would like to take it, which I'm sure resonates with a lot of people, especially because even though I'm not a mom, I know I'm a dog mom and I make jokes all the time about being a dog mom. Like, I don't know what it's like to be a real mom, like someone who has like kids and stuff like that. I don't know that struggle. But anyways, I definitely know that a lot of our audience is a lot of moms and a lot of like women where we do go through seasons, and especially when the kids are out of school and stuff like that. And so I'd love to just kind of continue the conversation of like what it's like to like manage the business and life during weird seasons, and like what that's been like for you as chaos in life or just like kids.
That is something that you have to, it's like you get to a point where you have to like give radical acceptance to yourself. And being a woman, I'm sure men go through their own seasons as well, but I can't identify with that because I'm not a man. So I can only speak to women. Who I am.
Yeah.
And we not only go through seasons and cycles on a monthly basis, but just like in general in life, like the season I was in when I first started my business, I was pregnant and I had a toddler.
Yeah.
You know, and now I have a 6 and an 8-year-old and an adult. I have an adult child.
Adult child.
I straight up have an adult child, which is crazy. Like, she graduated high school, so like life looks very different. And one of the things that keeps me grounded in like figuring out like what matters in different seasons of life is, I actually recorded an episode on this and I'll have to try to link back to it, was like doing a visualization exercise for what you want your life. You're taking a video and it's really awkward and I don't know what to do with my hands.
Content, my friend. I don't know what to do with my hands. Pulling a me from my speech.
But yeah, so I have this episode that I walked through like how to, I don't even remember what it was called, like kind of planning out your year or whatever. It was like a goal setting episode. And I walk you through a visualization exercise, and I do this with my students too, but one of the main things that pulls me back into like grounding in why I'm doing this and what I want this current season to look like is looking to the future and kind of visualizing like what is my life going to look like when I have the 2 kids that are in sports and learning to drive and all of this, like kind of future pacing, like. And it kind of forces you to be like, oh wow, time is really precious because I'm already visualizing that, and that's only 5 years away.
Yeah.
And so I look back, and I've been in business now since 2017, and that's like how many years?
I've been 2018.
Like 7 years.
Lots.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know how to count.
Math is hard.
Because I'm a bookkeeper. But yeah.
There's calculators for a reason,
I know.
people.
But yeah, it's like, so dealing with the different seasons of life, which we kind of tapped into on the on the part 1 was
of the Alyssa and Serena Show.
Alyssa and Serena Show. I'm so proud of that intro.
Yeah.
And what a lot of it is being able to kind of like surrender to like, this is just the season of life. Because a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this too, like I'm ambitious. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, wow. Is that why you called your business that? That's so weird. And you're also a bookkeeper. Whoa. Weird.
So weird.
Wow.
But I'm like super ambitious and I have all of these ideas and these goals. I'm a very goal driven person. Yeah. And so once I think of something, I'm like, I kind of,
obsessed.
Once I've attached that as a goal of mine, it's going to happen. It will frickin' happen. And I have to reel myself in to like allow more time for certain goals to accomplish them, because I'm one of those people. You are too. You're a sprinter.
Yeah.
Once you have an idea, you want to execute it.
Not in real life though. Just let's be clear, people. I don't
not
sprint.
Like physically.
I do not run upstairs for fun like my friend Nicole does.
But yeah, like once I have a vision and make it into a goal, I'm going to make it happen, and sometimes to my own detriment. And so the last few years have been a real huge lesson in like letting go and not rushing the goal and not pushing forward through hell and high water. Yeah. It's like giving it more time and space, giving things, not piling too much on at once and not like burning myself out.
For all of us. Yeah.
And just being like, well, in this season in my life, maybe this is not the correct season of my life to be pursuing that goal. You know what I mean? Like, because I've had visions of making my bookkeeping firm $1 million firm. Yeah. But that is not the correct goal for this season of my life because I have young kids and that is more important to me. But I have to continue to like remind myself of these things. Like, this is why I'm doing it. I'm doing this to spend time with my kids.
Maybe not now.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a future
if
thing.
You wanted to, but that's
a future
right
goal.
Now. Yeah.
Not necessary right now in my life.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's where you were trying to take this conversation, but that's what I've got for you.
Yeah, but I think that that's a good message for anybody who's just like, we all naturally put this guilt, like we were talking about in part 1 about how like I literally thought that after my 3 weeks off of no business, I'd come back and I'd be back in my let's get done season. And it's not. And here we are. Nope, we're still here.
Nope.
You know, but I'm just taking one little step a day just to try to get re-motivated and re-inspired. And I think that's normal. And I think that we all go through that. Like, I'm going through a season of really just wanting to DIY my house all the time.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I want to do. I just want to like paint, DIY, build things, just do whatever, or like travel. And like, I just go through these phases, or sometimes doing nothing. But then there's other times where I'm like, oh, I've got some big goals. Like, I'm going to make it happen. And then I do.
Yeah.
And then I'm back in my other season. And I think it's just like the importance of everybody listening just to take a step back And like, it's okay. Like, don't feel guilty, but like knowing and understanding that like it's just a season. It's like the yin and yang, the masculine, feminine, the ups and downs. It's like there will always be the good and the bad on all ends of everything. There will always be inspiration and no inspiration, motivation and unmotivated.
Yeah.
And I think that we all go through that. And like whatever that season looks like. And if you're listening right now and you're going through a rough season, because we've both been there, I think we both kind of were getting out of our season at the same time. Like if you're in a bad, weird season, like reach out to us. Come on Instagram, come say hi, and come do all the things and just like have a conversation and let us know what season that you're in your business, and like, or even in your life. Because sometimes it's not even like when I explain to my people, it's like, it's not even about the business. It's just like I'm in a season of life that like I can't control right now.
Yeah,
or that I wish I could.
It goes back to that conversation, like whenever I'm mentoring or coaching someone one-on-one,
Yeah.
I do need to know like what's happening in your life, because you say you want to do all these things in your business, but like,
Are you willing to
for
put
real,
that? Are you willing to
do you-
sacrifice all the things that you're going to need to in order to get that?
Yeah.
That's like when people like
and how
our
much
clients.
does that matter?
How many times, like, and I'm sure people listening to with your clients that maybe you consult with tell us, I want $1 million business. I want this. I want like to make 100K or 500K or 50K. Could be whatever their goal is. And I'm like, are you willing to put in what it's going to take to get there? Because even if you're not the one doing it, you have to hire the people to do it, because someone needs to do it. I always tell people, like, you're going to give up a lot of things. I've had so many clients like ambitious as hell and like get into work with us, and they're consulting and they tell me all these things that they want to do. I'm like, I'm telling you, if you don't have the people, you're going to be working this many hours. Are you sure you're willing to sacrifice X, Y, Z? And this is going to be your season of life.
Yeah.
You can get there, but you're going to be in a heavy season and you're going to have to give up a lot. But there can be balance. I do believe that you can have it all. Like, you really can have it all. Like,
Yeah.
the balance. But sometimes you have to sacrifice some things just to get there.
There's always some level of sacrifice. And so it's kind of like checking in with like, how much are you willing to sacrifice?
And sometimes
What
the
are you
sacrifice
willing to?
isn't like a lamb to like God.
We're not sacrificing,
Like, we're not sacrificing
lambs
literal
over here.
literal things. But what I mean is like the sacrifice could be, when we think of the word sacrifice, we think of the word as being really dramatic, as like this crazy, I gotta give up this like, for
Yeah.
that. It really could just be, the sacrifice could be, I would love to have $1 million business. Well, you need the people. The sacrifice could be, it's either the budget, your money, or your time.
Yeah.
So the sacrifice can be as simple as it's either you or someone else's time. But then if it's someone else's time, it's your money.
Yeah.
So it's like, your sacrifice doesn't have to be this crazy dramatic thing, like throw babies off things. Like, it doesn't need to be crazy. I'm just using analogies. We're not promoting that in any capacity. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know?
But a lot of times, depending on like where you're at with your money mindset too, is like a lot of people have, it's easier for them to sacrifice their time
Yeah.
to do the things because they're saving the money. But then
you
I
lose
always
your
ask
time.
the question, I'm like, well then what are you sacrificing time with, or who are you
Is it your
sacrificing
family?
time with?
You know, is it your kid? Like I said, I don't
Yeah.
have kids, so like I can sacrifice a lot of time. But at the same time, like, I'm really huge on,
Yeah, or is it
you
your
know,
personal
space.
care? Or
Yeah, personal care,
Like
that
you're
was huge for
sacrificing your
me.
time at the gym. You're sacrificing the time you're
That
able
was
to
me.
cook meals.
2020 was like, I'm all healthy and I'm fit. And then all of a sudden it was like 3 years later, all that time that I spent sitting on the computer, I gained a lot of weight. I'm back on track to like get myself down, which has been really nice. But I had to sacrifice to
Yeah.
get the success I did from both the firm and also Workflow Queen. There was a
Yeah.
lot of sacrifices that I had to give up. But at that time, I didn't see it, because it's like the snowball effect where like
Yeah.
one movement can compile over time. You know, that whole concept.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. That's no fun. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get through the season. It's just like winter. It's just like fall. I'm just trying to be all
Winter
like
is
deep.
coming.
Winter's coming. It's literally summer. We still have fall.
It's July.
Yeah, it's pretty much Halloween. Just kidding. You know, when people say after 4th of July, they're
know.
like, it's literally Halloween. I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
I am that person who's like, it's almost Christmas. Like, I'm literally counting down the days until it's Christmas. Because what I'm going to do is hang up a tree and I'm going to sit.
On October 1st.
What? September. I am a September person.
No way.
For real. Last year it was Labor
was
Day.
totally
I'm
joking.
pretty positive it was Labor Day last time.
You put
Swear
up
to
a
God.
tree on
and
Labor
everything.
Day?
Yep. hmm You can find ornaments that
And
don't have
you
to be
give
all
me
Christmas.
for wearing socks to bed.
That's some serial killer stuff. Okay, people. I want to know. We want to know a real poll here. Please email us. Either support@workflowqueen.com or support@ambitiousbookkeeper.com, or come on Instagram and let us know. Do you wear socks to sleep? I genuinely want to know how many people actually wear their socks and how high are they? Are they high socks? Are they low socks? Like, explain the socks to me.
Yeah.
Don't your feet get hot?
Material? No, dude,
The material
my feet are
fuzzy
cold
socks?
right now, and it's
Really?
I
It's like
have
so
poor
hot.
circulation.
You want my slippers? You could wear my slippers. You can have one. We could share
get
them.
one.
You could fit your foot in there too.
I could share.
It wouldn't be weird.
Oh Lord.
So let's switch to some tactical things.
Yeah, I had a train of thought, and you totally
I'm sorry.
derailed it.
Yeah, that's my life. I derail a lot of things, but we're here. So
we're here.
We showed up.
Okay. I had a question from one of my students about, there's two questions that are kind of like hand in hand. So let's start with setting up standard operating procedures, aka SOPs, in your firm. So that was it was a very broad general question, like, can you talk about setting up SOPs in your firm? And so let's talk about that. Like logistically, you need SOPs in your firm if you want to be able to hand anything off, even
Or
if
even
you
for
don't.
yourself.
Yeah,
Even for yourself.
even if you don't want to hand it off, it's very effective
You know how many times
to
on month
document.
end, like you do something that you haven't done for you have to only do it once a month, and then you go in, just having the SOP there for yourself, even before I delegated too, was so helpful, because all I had to do was rewatch it or like reread it,
and all the links are there.
I
of the
never had to
things you
rethink
need.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, how did I do this last time? Especially for like complicated journal entries or
Yep. And then you're making like
pulling
calculators
reports.
and templates for it. Yeah.
Yeah, things
Yep.
like that. So step one is to like just identify all the steps that need
Well, let's
to be
talk about the real
documented.
step one. The step one is just do it. We talked about this on the way today. We were like, how do
The
we
answer for everything is
explain-
to just do it. And I was like, oh yeah,
That's
let's
a common
just
theme.
do it.
Yeah, just like
just
Nike
do it.
said,
just
just
like
do it.
get your together and just do it.
Just do it. Just document it. I don't know how, but we're gonna do it. Be scrappy is the theme. Scrappy is our last name. I think for SOPs, it's really just one, being intentional. I think we just kind of touched on it a second ago, but it really is, everyone thinks it's for the team. It's really not. And it does not have to be for people who work for you. It could be for yourself. So I think that when you understand that, you stop resisting doing it. If you're like, I don't ever want a team.
Yeah.
It really is super helpful just to do it for yourself. The other thing too is just like identify what you're trying to accomplish, is what you were saying. So identifying what you're trying to accomplish is kind of like how do I say this? So if I want to, I don't know, what do I want to do? I'm trying to think of something. I don't know why my brain is blanking. Maybe because I've been off for 3 weeks. I don't even remember what I do
You
anymore.
need to exercise that thing.
Yeah, I definitely need to exercise my body and
Your
also my
brain.
mind. Anyways, let's just say that I want to, I don't know, do a payroll journal entry for like, something complicated for like a certain client. Like, you need to identify what are you trying to accomplish, what are you trying to do, and then you're like going to go back and say, well, what do I need to do, and like what are the steps in order for me to accomplish that thing. The one mistake I see a lot of people making is like, I'm going to document an SOP on month end, the whole thing, which month end is like 15 individual things that make up month end, right? So month end is like,
And various things for different
first you're
clients.
categorizing things, and then you're double checking that the work is there, making sure there's nothing left in the bank feed. Then you're moving on to reports. Then you're moving on to sending the content center request. You're doing all these things. That the mistake I've seen is that others in the industry will go and like document either written out, or they'll like do one massive video that's like 30 minutes of like a Loom video, and they'll go in and talk through for 30 minutes. And I'm like, no one on your team is ever going to refer to that video ever again, and neither will you.
Yeah.
And so like when you are doing this, you're identifying a small portion of the process, not the whole process. And so if you're doing this payroll journal entry, then maybe it's just you recording on a video. Could be something as simple as Loom, or even like you can document it out as well. Like Loom now has a new feature. I don't know if you've tested it out, but did you know they have a new feature where like you can record a Loom video and now it like spits out all the step by step? It's called Loom AI. And so Loom AI, I think it's like an extra couple bucks a month. And when you record the video, you could say, write me a brief, document this out for me. Like there's a bunch of different tabs. I haven't explored all the tabs.
Oh, that's really
It's actually
cool.
really cool. You could say like create the whole process with like summary and information. It's really cool.
To have
It's
the
actually
written process is so clutch.
so on point too. It's stupid accurate, worth the investment in my opinion. So when you do stuff like that, it doesn't need to be complicated. So people always think, because corporate, especially your
I
audience,
used
is
to
more
document
corporate.
on a Word document and take screenshots and do little red circles and all the things all manually. It took me like an hour to
Forever.
do a process.
So because a lot of your people are coming from corporate, and mine are coming from people who like haven't been educated on how to document these things, we think it needs to be written. That's like the old way of doing things. The new way of doing things is like, why don't we record it? I like to have different options because some of my team members like to watch and some people like to read. I'm one of those people who like just wants the high level bullet points. I don't want to watch anything. I'm just over it.
I want to go to the part where I'm struggling with
and just
what's
get
next.
it and know that like if I like to timestamp parts of the SOPs. So like for example, it's like if the SOP is like record the journal entry, usually there's 3 parts of the recording, right? It's like the getting the reports, crafting the journal entry, inputting it into QBO. I like to split them and timestamp them, so
and
that way
Loom will do that for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then I'm timestamping, but the new feature that they have, it will timestamp it on the steps, which is really cool.
So can you click on the step and it takes you to the
it's been a while.
Yeah. Well, there's another tool that I use to get these visual step by steps in a written format with the screenshots. It's called Tango.
Oh, I've never heard of Tango. I know ScribeHow is another option if we want to write this down because we're going to forget all these things.
Yeah, Tango and ScribeHow. It's a Google Chrome extension.
Oh, Tango.
And you can
you just dance around.
Yeah, Tango. I don't even
screenshot
know.
Tango.
Yeah. But like you just like you turn it on kind of like a Loom video and then you just do your process and it does screen grabs at all the clicks you make.
I know ScribeHow does that, but I think you have to like click a button to have ScribeHow screenshot it.
No, it does it really automatically.
Someone in my breakthrough group just introduced like some other one that I forgot the name of it. Anyways, the whole point of that was when you are documenting it, it really doesn't need to be crazy. The like SOP doesn't have to be like this fancy software and all these crazy things. Like we use Loom all the time. We do it for reports for our clients. We're communicating to the team about Loom stuff, like using Loom for that kind of stuff. So it's really just identifying what are you trying to accomplish. Don't try to do your whole entire process. You need to identify
a process. Not in one sitting either.
Yeah, and like this is what I teach inside of Breakthrough is like a process is not the same as an SOP. And I think that that's where people get confused. The SOPs are like the tiny little steps. So I'll give a great example for anyone who doesn't understand like the difference. So we use and teach different efficiency tools inside of Breakthrough. I know that you've been to my retreat, so like you know like the different efficiency tools. When you're looking at a process, we'll call the process the onboarding process. The onboarding process is made up of so many steps. Like you can't just be like, I'm going to take right now in 10 minutes to do the whole entire onboarding. It's not realistic. So a process is like a bunch of steps together, usually grouped. So like the pre-onboarding, during onboarding, post-onboarding. That's usually like there's phases of things. The steps that are happening in the onboarding are the SOPs is the best way I can describe it. So for example, it might be send out the content snare request of the questions that we have for onboarding. Like I'm going to have an SOP for how to send a content snare request. And the cool part is I don't have to create, and this is where I see the other big mistake, is a lot of people will be like, well, I need to create videos for every little thing. So a great example of that is that content snare. So for anyone who doesn't know what content snare is, it allows you the opportunity to like, it's like a Google form, but instead it's way cooler. And so with content snare, essentially what we can do is we can send out this onboarding form, but we also use content snare in our cleanup questions. So when we're at the end of our cleanups, we send a form to our clients to ask them for, you know, things that we still might be lingering or needing. We send out our monthly questionnaire about the questions that we have for clients, plus the documents we need from them, so on and so forth. So I'm not going to create 3 separate videos on how to send 3 different types of content snare forms. The smart thing that you're going to do is, and this is what we lead in all of our videos is, and this is exactly verbatim what I say at the very beginning of every SOP. In this SOP, I'm going to show you how to ... What is it, right? So I'm going to show you how to send a form through content snare, but this can apply to every form you ever send. And I usually have to say that, and I know it sounds really stupid because everyone's like, well, that's common sense. You would be surprised how many people just skip that. And they're like, I was thinking that you're talking specifically about the onboarding one. So I have to say at the very beginning of my videos or in our SOPs, the SOP might refer to the onboarding form, but the process remains the same. You do the same thing. So instead of creating 3 separate videos, which is what I see all the time, people always creating separate videos per client is what I see all the time, where it's like there is an appropriate time and place where your SOP should be client specific, I will say. Yeah,
a certain process, but the entire client month end, there should be a lot of overlap.
A lot of the same thing. Like there should be some pretty straightforward stuff. So I get this a lot. Like if you have, a great example is always payroll. Sometimes we get those really complicated clients that have like weird vacations and they use a different software. They're maybe using Gusto, but the other one's not, right? When you find that it's way too complicated and you don't have the notes like to be able to help someone in a different software, then I say different, you know, SOP. You're going to want to create it in a different software or for that specific client. And then the other question I always get on the back end of the SOP thing is always about, well, what about like all the details and all the notes. And that's where me and you, both of us, and like a lot of my students, is Notion. So Notion is where we refer to for the information, because that's why people get really confused of like, well, if I'm not going to be client specific, how would our team know about like the things that they need to get the thing done, or the information? The information lives in Notion. So we have client profiles inside of Notion that give information, specifics. This is the software they use for payroll. This is what they use for this, for receipt management, XYZ. It gives the details, and then we have the SOPs that are like generic, but then they refer to Notion, accompanying the actual SOP itself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's where, like, because I've talked to a few students that have been like, yeah, I need different. First of all, I don't know how to hand off and delegate this because every client is different. And so I have all these different SOPs, and it's like, that's when it becomes really important and effective to, if you're not going to niche on your industry, at least say, I'm only going to handle payroll in Gusto, or I'm only going to handle bookkeeping in QuickBooks Online. So that even if it's a different industry with the client, like the general operating procedure is going to be the same.
And I think that that's where people, like, that can go a whole nother conversation, but like a lot of people think, and because they've been told this, that niching means industry. And we can go on and on about that all day, that it doesn't need to be. It could be a software. It could be a type of person. It can literally be like, I only work with multimillionaires. I only work with people who are cool as like it's so like crazy. Like you can actually drill into that. The beauty of the niche is really sometimes about the copy and like the way that you market. Because you talk differently when you're talking to a multimillionaire than you would to someone who's a brand new micro client. I'm going to have way different conversations. So I'm going to have different reflecting copy. Or marketing strategies.
For sure. Okay.
So I hope that answered the question.
I think it did. And so if you're listening to this and you're still stuck on setting up SOPs, what's the best resource you could direct them to?
Oh, actually, Workflows in a Weekend.
Okay.
Because it's like how to document workflows, which workflows are SOPs. And it's a really easy intro program. It's like $37, and it will actually have a video and also a resource of how to like document it. It also talk about the 6 essential questions you should always be asking, because like I always say, you always want to answer questions before someone can ask you in all of your SOPs and your information in general, emails to clients, you know, all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Okay. The other question, kind of similar, is proactively delegating. So before you can proactively delegate, you need to have your SOPs built out.
But not always. Because then you don't want to get
like, you don't want to get stuck in that,
like, I can't hire. Do we just say the same thing? Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Actually, a root beer, because I love root beer.
Same.
Like, stop.
Pinch poke, you owe me a root beer. It doesn't even rhyme.
Doesn't even rhyme, but we're going to make it rhyme. We're going to find a way to make it rhyme. I don't think that it always makes sense, because this is where we both see a lot of people, especially in our programs and stuff. We see them all the time. I can't hire because I don't have all my SOPs, and I can't hire because I don't have an onboarding program, or I can't hire. There's always an I can't hire, but just like me this morning was like, I can't do this because like we all have like a reason and an excuse. Like, don't, for anyone listening to this, don't feel like you have to have that in place, because a lot of the times when you hire someone, they can help you as long as you have the confidence in their execution. Because if they can't execute on it, then don't have them document SOPs, because then it'll create bad eggs down the line. But what I'm saying is, don't let that stop you, because usually when you are, also when you have a fire lit under your ass when you're about to hire and you're in like, okay, I have 2 weeks to prep for them, you'll get more stuff done. I can tell you this from experience. I get way more stuff done when I'm hiring someone. Same when I hired my personal assistant. I was just like, oh my God, I have to get her like my license plate, my VIN number, my this and my that, and where my bills are and what's on autopay and what's not. You will do all that stuff when you know someone's coming. And so if you want, you could take a couple weeks to do it. It doesn't have to be like this crazy thing.
And choose the bare minimum. Like, figure out, okay, what are the main things I want this person doing? And create a checklist of those items, and then create SOPs just for those first few items that you're going to hand off. And then they have the template for creating SOPs, and then you say, these are the other items you're going to be doing. But hey, sorry, there's no SOP, so can you create it?
Or just like, hey, can you flag when the task doesn't have information? So we use a tag inside of Asana that's called needs SOP. So that way, like if it's missing information or missing details, then like the rule on the team is they tag it, it's red. So we pull a report, so then we can just see on a monthly basis what SOPs we need to create for stuff. So that's really helpful for anybody who uses a project management system. You can do it in most systems. It doesn't need to be Asana. but usually they're calling it some way to flag it, some way to flag this thing. I had a really good thing that I wanted to say, and then it just like freaking butterflies just flies away now. It'll come back.
Turkey butterflies.
Hopefully it'll come back, because it was a really good idea. And like everyone always says, but Alyssa, if it was a really good idea, do you remember? I'm like, no,
that's why I take excessive notes and have all these places with ideas
so
out
many
the
different
wazoo.
places. It's literally overwhelmed. We were talking about that today. I can't remember what it is, but hopefully eventually it comes back. It was really good. It was a really good tip I wanted to give. But anyways.
It was about hiring and creating SOPs and
yeah, no, it's not coming. It's not coming back.
All right.
Man,
bye idea.
Bye. It's just like it just fell off the ledge that we're sitting on.
Bye.
Good luck with your rest of your podcast. It's gonna drive me insane. I'm gonna think about it the whole time.
Yeah.
But what were we talking about a second ago? See, memories, problems.
Yeah.
Delegating.
I mean, yes, proactively delegating.
I remember what it was.
Okay.
I'm so sorry to interrupt
okay.
you. I'm so excited. It was, okay, so today, me and Serena were working through something, actually right before this, because my plan is to hire a marketing assistant for Workflow Queen. That's like my new hire that I'm going through. And I was showing her something. I was like, can I show you some of the things that I'm doing right now? And I pulled up a quick little spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet said all the things that I want them to do. On that same spreadsheet, I don't know if you noticed it, but there's a tab that says SOP created with a question mark, and it's a yes or no. And so what I do is, okay, so just to give everyone context, this is such a great resource. I actually give it, I think, inside of Workflows in a weekend. If not, I plan to come out and I'm just going to tell the world with a new program. I'm very excited about it. It's going to be about the hiring, and it's just solely that, because so many people ask me to just do a program on only hiring and not all the other pieces that we give inside of Breakthrough, because Breakthrough is more comprehensive. This would be like just about the hiring, the interview questions, job description. But this was one of the resources that I want to provide. So once that gets out, we will tell the world and tell you guys. But anyways, until then, just get yourself a quick little Google Sheet or an Excel. Doesn't matter where you put it. And what I did was I just created like just a simple resource that says like task, and then it says like who would do it, like the role itself, how much time is it spent on that task, is there an SOP or a resource created for it. It's as simple as that. It's nothing complicated, nothing fancy. And what I do is I actually bookmark that spreadsheet on my tab whenever I'm about to hire. So with this marketing person, every time something comes up, I just go in there and I'm like today you were like, oh, we reshare our podcast thing to your YouTube shorts. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I never thought about that, but I would love for someone else to do it because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I went to my little spreadsheet and I pulled it up, and you're like, oh, what's that? And I was like, oh yeah, this is what I just brain dump the things I want someone to do. So for anyone listening, you might have never hired. So you might be like, I feel like I'm just throwing in random things one's an assistant could do and an account manager could do. That's great. It's really good. That's why you have a role column that would say, eventually you'd go through your spreadsheet and say what role would actually be playing for that task. Like, who would I assign this to? Not assigning names, it's the role. So it'd be like bookkeeper or assistant or whatever that looks like. So that's why I wanted to share that, was because that's been really helpful for me.
Yeah.
Because one, it helps me build my job descriptions, because now I can go back. Two, it helps be my roadmap, because I think I have like an easy, medium, hard tab too, that pretty much like each task I can say what would be easy, medium, hard. And this doesn't go in the project management system yet. This is just like my ideas of what I'd like for this person to take over. Will they write away all of it? No. And sometimes it goes to another person on the team, but it helps me get it out. And then it also acts as my own list. So when I do hire them, I'm like, cool, that's all the things I need to create resources. Maybe the resource is, we're going to do YouTube shorts. Here's the link to the YouTube channel. Here's how often I want to do it. Here's how long the clips need to be. That's what we're talking about. It doesn't need to be an SOP. Sometimes it really is just like information. So it acts as a checklist. So for anyone hiring and wanting to delegate, you might not be able to afford it right now. You might not be ready for it, but I do say proactively just bookmark a spreadsheet on your tab. When things come up that you hate doing or you don't want to do anymore, just throw it on the spreadsheet and use that as your list. And that will be really helpful for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That kind of rolls into like what I was about to say about like being proactive about delegating. If you already have team members and they have capacity, but you're not sure like what you need to be handing off, that's what you need to be doing. Like, look at what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Like, look at things from a different lens as you're doing them, and like listen and pay attention to your own reaction of the task. Like,
do you hate it?
Like, am I dreading this every time this happens?
Like every time I look at it, I'm avoiding.
Am I avoiding this task? Like, throw that on a list, and then like, if you already have a team, you can bring it up at your next team meeting. Like, hey team, like I
got these
I need
things.
these off my plate.
Yeah.
Who wants to volunteer before I volunteer you?
Your things that you hate. What is it? The trash that's your treasure.
Yeah.
Wait, your treasure is your trash.
Someone's trash is someone else's treasure.
I mess up every slogan
Me too.
that could be ever made.
We're just like Tweedledee and Tweedledum dumb
Absolutely.
over here.
It's been a long
those.
day. We've been in the lake and the sun. We're just going to blame the lake and the sun. But yes, that's the thing is, like, the things that I no longer remember when you first started your business, and like categorizing transactions was like the most exciting part of your day. And it's like, oh, here's the bell, guys. Just so you know, it's top of the hour.
Top of the hour to you.
So it's going to go on for 6 rings.
Seven.
Right? Or
It's
7. It's 7 p.m., guys.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry you're going to have to deal with this loud ringing for a second. What was I saying? Oh, and people on your team. I have like the worst memory in the whole world. That people on your team, you'd be really surprised. So when we first started our business, we used to get excited about the stupidest little things that we hate now.
Yeah.
So like, I hate pulling statements. I hate like a lot of different things. Like, I really like genuinely, I'm like, ugh, like I don't want to do that. But then like, I also like new things. So like the same thing goes for your team. That's why they call it the S curve. The S curve means that you always have to keep your team wanting more and doing other things, or else you're going to lose them. That's why people get bored and they leave for other jobs. Money too, as well as another thing. But
and
the
recognition.
S curve, yeah, and recognition or culture. There's a lot of different reasons why the recipe for why someone would stay with you. But one of the biggest things is because people get bored in their spot. And so same thing, imagine yourself how you get bored of your own things. You want to ask your team too, hey guys, I've got these 10 things that I'd love to outsource. Anybody want to jump ship, or not jump ship? Do you want to stay on the ship?
Stay on the ship and go to a different department.
Go to what is it, the bow or the bow? What do they call
Do you want to go on deck, or do you want to go down?
Do you want to go down under? Do you want to go down under? Do you want to be with the sharks, or you want to be on the boat? You ask, you say, whatever. Anyways, but what I'm trying to say is that like a lot of the times, just because you hate something, like, and sometimes even the things that you think is hard, because a lot of people hate, especially in our industry, hate marketing. You might think everybody hates it, but not everyone does. There's like people who get lit up. I remember like when I started Breakthrough and I was trying to discern if I wanted to like create a job description for them for a bookkeeper assistant, because a lot of people were like, nobody wants to be like an assistant if they're a bookkeeper. I can tell you right now, if I did not own my business and someone offered me a bookkeeper assistant where I could still answer the phone plus do the bookkeeping, I would have jumped on it. Because when I was little, when you're little and you play with your sisters and your brothers and stuff, I was both president and secretary at the exact same time. I wanted to answer the phone and rule the world.
Yeah.
My sister, I don't know what she was doing, to be honest. And all the other stuffed animals sitting there watching.
What was that stuffed animal last night? We were watching that
Oh,
movie.
Imaginary was the movie, but his name was Claude?
Klaus?
Claudia? Clyde.
No, it wasn't
No, it was
Clyde.
Clyde. It was for sure Clyde.
No, it wasn't.
Chesney. Cheyenne. I know
Corduroy.
it was Corduroy.
No, it
I know it was
wasn't.
with a C. Chauncey. Chauncey.
Okay.
We're done with that.
Yeah.
It's a long day. It's been a long day.
Also, Alyssa's been making me watch scary movies and then getting mad that I scream.
Every time. Never fails. She scares my dog, too, in the whole process. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
Did we answer the delegation?
Yes, I think we've effectively answered the proactively delegating question.
Okay. If we didn't, just let us know.
So, okay. So we've been chatting off your ears for so long. Is there any other topic that you wanted to dive into?
Let's get into some advisory stuff.
Advisory?
It sounds like we've been talking for a while, but really this is part 2. So like they might not think that it's actually a long time.
It's been 37 minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Okay.
They can handle more. If not, they could pause. They could come back. Tuck your kids in. Be back for your bedtime story.
What do you want to talk about when it comes to
I don't know.
advisory?
I feel like a lot of people are really overwhelmed by the topic of advisory, and I think a lot of times there's this natural like overwhelm with like they think it needs to be these like large, chaotic, corporate type of advisories. So I just want to kind of like dive into like why you went into advisory. And I know that, I don't know if you want to share this, so I don't know if I should say it, but I'm going to say it anyways because you've been transparent just like I am. But I know that you have been pulling off of advisory because you're like, I'm not in that season, going back to full circle.
Full circle.
Look at us naturally being podcasters. full circle of the season of life, but because you are doing some of your advisory, I know that you have one of your team members, I forgot his name, I'm so sorry.
Brett.
Brett.
Yeah.
And he does the videos though, but not necessarily meeting with the clients, right?
Yeah.
As of right now. I would love to talk about like how like it's nice to have when you know you want to push it, but then also it's okay to like say, I don't feel like doing it right now.
Yeah. I actually have definitely some thoughts on this, and I think I've done a couple social posts about this. I definitely put it on Threads. I don't know if you're on Threads or not, but
dude, I can't keep
you're
up.
like, I can't keep up. I've been enjoying just hanging out on Threads. It's like it's just a change. But anyways, so it sounds like I'm shooting myself in the foot because I literally have a program that teaches you advisory, but hear me out.
But you can also crank it up. You could turn on that faucet and you can bring the clients in on advisory. You have every right to teach it.
But my beef is with our industry is that like all the other gurus, I mean, I don't consider myself a guru, but I know I'm like lumped into this.
But you are.
Like,
People will look up.
Yeah,
to you as
we're
someone
lumped
who is.
into this like accounting influencers type of
Such an
space where like,
influencer.
because we have a podcast and like
We
people follow
influence.
us, blah, blah, blah. Every other one of those people in this space that teach other bookkeepers and are trying to create programs and courses and do coaching and all this kind of stuff, I think like 100% of the other people are pushing like you have to learn advisory. You're obsolete. You're a commodity. Bookkeeping is a commodity, and I call on
Well,
that.
that and also did you notice the word you use that they have to?
Yeah.
They put the scarcity that if you're not
Well,
doing
yeah,
advisory, you will fail.
they're
And I
scaring
think
people.
There's BS.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I
There's
agree.
it's a scare tactic to get you to buy their programs,
Yeah.
or to get their coaching or whatever. To
As someone who sells these types of things, we get the
yeah,
tactics.
like I get it. And like I said, I'm probably shooting myself in the foot, but I also have like something else to say about this. And like the whole point is like I'm glitching.
Yeah, you are. You're glitching. I'm seeing it in your eyes. You guys can't see her, but I think she's looking robotic right now.
I get so worked up over this because I disagree. Bookkeeping is not a commodity.
No, wait. What is the definition? Commodity is like when you need to eat, right?
A commodity is where
like in your pantry. Is it legit like a real
resource? So like we
Okay.
have resources that are commodities.
Okay, I'm really
right?
smart, I swear, people.
Like that the price of them is always low because it's like a necessity. So
that's a commodity.
Yeah, economics is like the price is always going to be driven down because there's so much competition, because there's so many people producing this thing that's
Got
a
it. So it's always no one's
necessity.
going to look at it as something that's like
Exactly.
be priced higher.
So that's where kind of that comes from. But there's so much fear mongering about it where it's like bookkeeping is a commodity. You can't set yourself apart unless you do advisory, and you have to learn this other skill. But like I call on that too, because how you and I were talking earlier about like you can provide an exceptional level of service and charge more for it.
Yes, when we're
based
talking about
purely on communication
and client like experience.
Yes.
Like you can literally charge double what the next door bookkeeper is charging just because you overly communicate in obviously a healthy way, overly communicate, and you give them a really good client experience.
Yeah.
Because you make them feel seen and you make them feel heard.
Yeah, because
and I am 100%,
AI is not going to give them that experience.
Absolutely not. And not only that, but also so isn't the other one who's trying to manage like all these clients like on their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like, yeah, I am right there with you because like I go through phases too where I'm like, I don't want to even offer the advisory, even from like, because now we have like our account manager. I don't want her to. I just like I'm over it. Like, not that I'm over it. I should not say that to the universe because the universe keeps giving me exactly what I say lately, and it's just all bad. But what I mean by that is like when
you get to choose too. You don't have to offer it to every client.
You don't have to
You can pick and choose which clients you want to offer it to.
That too, and you don't have to make it complicated. The whole point of the question too was there's this idea that it needs to be this really complicated thing when like I'll give you the great example of the email I was telling you about this morning that we received from our client. So one of my clients emailed and was asking about, hey guys, like she's currently in their cleanup phase right now. She emailed our team and she pretty much said, I have a contractor that wants to essentially charge me more. Can I afford it? And I said, you know, I gave the guidance to our account manager. I said, you need to let her know that unfortunately, like that's consulting. And I think that that's where people get confused because they think that, well, I'm just being helpful. I'm just answering the question. We talked about this morning, literally about, I even asked you, I said, would this be advisory? I was literally being coached by you this morning.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, absolutely. You were in the right to say it's $250 for an hour. Here's our consulting link.
Because
you're more than
not
welcome.
in the advisory package.
Yeah, because she's not in the advisory package. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just in a regular bookkeeping and also cleanup, right? She gets monthly reports, but our monthly reports aren't going to be like, hey, you can afford to hire, more
Right.
people. It doesn't do that.
That's a conversation.
It's so different because there's so many intricacies. So when we were talking today, it was a good conversation to kind of segue into what we're talking about now. I was just like, so is it weird? And I was like, would you do the same? She's like, yeah, because then the conversation, when it becomes a back and forth, that's how you know. Like, you can't just like make a decision right now, a yes or no.
Yeah.
Then you know that's advisory. And so then you need to be charging for it. If a client simply says, I feel like you can just email me and have this conversation, yeah, I'm happy to charge you hourly via the email as well.
Yeah.
But like, it's really up to you. But for me, I'd rather face to face or like on Zoom.
Because there's so many questions. There's so many layers to answer that question.
Yeah.
And
It's not just like an easy yes or no. So then what I sent to her, I said, unfortunately, we're in the cleanup phase. So like, because she asked me when we're going to get our monthly reports right after that. I said, we're in the cleanup phase. So like, you can get your reports at any time, but here's how to do it with a video SOP for her, my client. You can use SOPs for your clients too, people. And we sent her the video and pretty much just said, this is how you pull your own reports. But just to clarify, they're one, not going to be accurate because we're still cleaning up because we're waiting on your answers. And two, like, you're also not just going to get a straight answer looking at your own P&L. I said, but you have the confidence to make a decision and we're going to stand behind it no matter what. But I really do encourage you to get on a call with our team and like ask the question. And like, that way we can go back and forth with you.
Yeah.
And that is advisory.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people think it needs to be like these crazy because they put it in our mind, like you said, all these people that they have these spreadsheets and all these things and all these resources.
Yeah.
It's like,
if you want to package it as an offer, yes, you do have to have certain things and structures behind what you're doing. If you're going to offer a quarterly cadence of reforecasting and looking at their profitability and structure it like an offer, you can absolutely do that as a package and charge a really high rate for that. But for like the bookkeeping clients who are also getting advisory for free, like, you just have to be really clear about like, yes, that was included in the top tier package that we offered you. However, you selected this one. And you can still get access to ad hoc consulting. We're
not limiting the access. You still get the access, but you have to pay.
Yeah.
That's all you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people struggle with that too, that conversation. So I'd love to hear from what you have to say about what would you suggest to someone who does get, what if they like think I'm being greedy? Because that's a big thing that people go through with the mindset of like, am I being wrong? Am I nitpicking? Or like, what's the right word? We're like, it's like
nickel and diming.
There we go. I was going to say tongue and grooving, but I'm like, that's my ceiling. I don't know what's happening right now. But nickel and diming.
Too many DIY projects.
Too many, it's just in my brain all the time.
So yeah, a lot of that, I would say if you're struggling with having that conversation, number one, your client likely knows that they're going to pay for this and are expecting it to, but you have to be the one to say so. Not every client is going to be like, how much do I owe you for this? Like, that's not how it works.
Person.
I am too.
I am so like, hey, I understand that you have to paint this extra part of my house. Like, I'm not expecting you to just do it for free. So I immediately like make the conversation that like, charge me whatever you need to.
So do I, because I know that so many people have difficulty with that conversation. Yeah. And I don't want them to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so that's number one. They probably are expecting to pay for it, and you just have to be clear and bill them for it.
Yeah.
Like, be clear up front and then also still bill them for it.
Also, if you think that they don't expect it, that's because you've told yourself that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is you're number two, you're pushing your own money mindset and blocks onto your client and assuming that they have the same issues that you do.
They are assuming that they're going to be offended that you asked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, this is all business, people.
Yeah. It really doesn't have to be all emotional.
Yeah.
Unless you want to make it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my feeling on advisory, and not just communication and client service. There are other little things that you can do that are considered advisory that you can add to your regular bookkeeping packages to elevate that client experience. And one of them, like you just said, is reports.
And that's the other problem is a lot of people think that you always have to get on calls. Some advisory doesn't need calls.
Yeah.
Like, your advisory can be like
the 5-minute Loom video that goes over their financials.
That, or even like simple like monthly reports that like have like written out context and detail about certain things that, hey, we also adjusted it here. For us, we have like a goal planning like spreadsheet that like essentially at the very beginning we want to know like how many hours do you want to work, because that really changes the way that you make money. Like, because people think they want to make $1 million. It's like, but how much do you want to work? And it's like, but you don't got the team. So we're asking all these questions, and then we put like our forecast, and then from there we put like different goals and stuff. And that we don't even have to technically get on a call if we don't want to.
Yeah.
They have access to everything, but we do. Like, but you don't have to.
Yeah, you could do that over a Loom video and a Voxer conversation
or an email.
Something. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah. And like delivering monthly reports and then giving them bullet points of what's in the report. Like, oh, this expense was higher than last month. Ask the question why. Or if
like
you know why.
Is great for that. Because digits like points things out and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
and it also doesn't have to be an hour call. If you are doing a call, I think a lot of people think that it needs to be. It could be like if you give people an hour, minutes. People will fit an hour of information.
Yeah.
Yeah. What Parkinson's?
Parkinson's law. It is.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. I thought I was like saying the word that was like the one where people forget things.
That's Alzheimer's.
No, but there's another word with a P.
Parkinson's disease.
Oh, I knew there was something.
Yeah,
with, like,
it's confusing.
Okay. Yeah, that's very, very. Why do they do this to us? Anyways, but like people will fill it. So like if you give it 30 minutes, like the conversation with the client's going to be a lot faster, a lot swifter. They're going to come in prepared. And if you got an hour, you're just going to sit. I get
your
so
clients
bored.
will appreciate you cutting your hours
start asking them about their kids, and I'm like, I don't even want to know.
After an hour, I start doing weird stuff with my hands.
Yes, pretty much. I start saying weird things, and I don't understand what's happening half the time.
No, but like your clients are busy business owners, most likely, and they actually probably don't want to be on a call for an hour. And that's why we developed the 5-minute Loom video.
Yeah.
Because we had so many clients that just weren't booking their calls.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to get on the freaking phone call with their accountant. That stresses people out.
I have a social media managers, and I love them because they only do once a monthly call, which I really like.
Yeah.
And we do both companies because they manage both of them all in one call, and I absolutely love it. But I remember my prior social media managers wanted to do a call like once a week or bi-weekly, like an hour, and I was like, dude, half the time, like when my social media managers are doing reports, I love it because they do like this little presentation. I do appreciate it. But at the same time, like I just want to know, like I just want to be able to tell you what I want to have done. How you guys get there, I don't care about the stats. I just care that you are educated enough in what your zone of genius is to be able to tell me, Alyssa, we're concerned, because I don't know what the numbers are. I don't want to know. I don't want to keep up with it. I just want to know that, Alyssa, we are actually concerned about your numbers. We need to pivot. Okay, what do we need to do? Here's some ideas I've had. And that's what I appreciate about them. Like, they will show me some of the number stuff, but a lot of times, predominantly the conversation is me word vomiting all over them. All the things that I want to do.
What you just said is so valuable from the perspective of our clients because they feel the same way. They don't actually want to go through the detail of the financial statements. They want to know if something's wrong.
Answered. And my clients do, and I think that's why they really appreciate our advisory, like what we do. Especially when I was doing a lot of like our calls with our clients, like I really loved it because no joke, it would be, oh my God, you know, things are just going really weird. I feel like I just keep getting people wanting refunds or something like that. The real conversation shouldn't be, oh, let's just like get our refunds back and send an email. Well, do you have good terms and conditions? Do you have a lawyer in your back pocket? Can I introduce you to somebody? Our advisory ends up being like almost business advice a little bit. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to tell them what to put in the contract. I'm not going to tell them how to build out terms and conditions. But because I have industry insight, going back to full circling, back to like the niche, and because I work in a very specific industry, me and you know those things. We know that like, well, do you have those things? Because then people can't back out of their payment terms. Like they're stuck in their payment terms and so on and so forth. And I think that advisory can turn into, I don't want to sit and look at a report, to be honest. Like I could care less. I could be like, you don't have to show it to me. You just tell me when there's a problem that I need to be concerned about. And then let me tell you what I want to pivot, and you give me the advice that I need to move.
Yeah. I like high level bullet points too. So for like all of our clients, we give the 5-minute Loom video. Actually, we opened up a new package because even not all of our clients were watching that. So we're like, okay, our base package still gets all the reports, but instead of a Loom video, you just get an email with bullet points of like, this is your revenue, this is your expenses, this is what's different over last month, blah, blah, blah. And like as a business owner, like we were just saying, I don't want to watch a Loom video. I want to see high level. I want to glance.
I just want the bullet points.
Yeah, I want to skim and I want to glance and get all the information just I need quick, in 5 seconds.
Like snapshot.
Yeah.
I love that.
So Anyways, I teach all of that inside of Elevate.
Yeah, she does. Oh my God. Elevate. Woo woo. We'll put the links to all the things below, people, because I feel like we just dropped many tech things.
But it's not like necessary. That's the other thing too, is like your business will still survive without offering advisory, but there's all these little ideas that you can implement that are still considered advisory and will elevate your client experience. And so that resource is there for you. Okay, it's getting kind of late. We're hungry.
I have to really go to the bathroom.
Okay, but first I have a game.
Oh, shoot.
This is going to be so much fun. This is the first time ever I'm doing this. I did. I'm springing it on you.
Oh, I love this.
Okay.
I like this
So
game.
what I did is, and I might start doing this with my future guests.
Okay.
So just beware, anyone listening that wants to be a guest. Not for my strategy guests, but like interview guests. So what I did is I Googled Alyssa Lang.
Oh, shoot. There's a famous sports reporter.
I know. Yeah. That's where I'm going with this.
Oh, no.
So there's, in case you didn't know, there's a famous sports reporter. I think she reports on football for ESPN.
SEC. I've looked her up. I'm trying to beat her ranking in SEO.
It's not happening, by the way. Just kidding.
I know it's not, but I'm telling you that's my goal. So just for everyone to know.
So I Googled Alyssa Lang and was like, okay, cool. She has someone else with her same name that has a lot of stuff on the internet. Okay. And so this game is Who Said It? You have to know if this is something she said or you said.
Oh,
like
this is a
Alyssa
fun
Lang,
game.
the sports reporter, or Alyssa Lang, the workflow queen. Okay.
Tell me.
Okay. This is so freaking fun.
Okay.
Oh man, it's been incredible. It's a dream come true still for me. Sometimes I have to pinch myself like this morning.
Nope, absolutely not. Not me.
Alyssa Lang, the sports reporter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it right? Was that right?
You're right.
I'm like, I don't talk like that. No.
Ding, 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 ding. Ian, can you do like special effects sound on that?
Yeah, bing, bing, bing.
Like you won. Okay. Like if she gets it wrong, do a buzzer. Okay.
Delegating.
It is kind of weird. As a local reporter, you're kind of really fighting for that interview and you're trying to get all the access you can.
What? I'm going to say
I had to give you a freebie. What? Okay.
Really? That just gave it away. It says literal reporter in there. You're
I know.
too much.
I know.
Yeah, that's too much.
Okay. I should have mixed these up differently.
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever I'm deciding on big decisions of like, I'm torn between.
Well, gave it away.
But you have to listen.
Okay.
Should I do it? Should I say yes or should I say no or whatever it is? I play this game where I make someone else play rock, paper, scissors.
Yep, that's me.
Okay. For a bonus point, you have to tell me where that came from. Where you said that.
That was in the podcast episode that we did when I was in my trailer, when I was inside of Zion, and I had my glitchy Zoom thing, and I remember I couldn't see you on the thing.
Holy
I don't know how I remember that. I can't even remember what I was talking about this whole episode.
No.
I don't know. I told you, I remember really weird things. I can remember every single interview I've ever done with anybody.
I'll link back on that interview episode. That was on Alyssa's podcast.
Was it? I thought it was on yours.
Maybe we aired it on both then.
No, we've never aired.
Because I pulled that off of your podcast.
Did you?
Transcript.
I remember that because it was glitching and like it kept cutting in and out.
That is so crazy. Yeah. And that was like a year or two ago.
Because I was in Zion. That was right after I bought my travel trailer and I came to visit you.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. The gave it away in a heartbeat.
All right, so that concludes our game. You won.
Did I win
the game.
I am the queen of games.
You win
Let's
the prize.
just talk real quick about the fact that I beat you and Aaron last night in Uno.
3 times.
3 times, which, guys, by the way, was the only times we played. So pretty much I really won.
Yeah.
They were really sad.
We were both on the edge of winning multiple times.
But did you? It doesn't count if you were almost there.
I know, but those were like the longest Uno
it?
games ever.
Yeah, but I still won, so stop making excuses. I want you to say that I won because I won.
Alyssa wins. Yes. She's very competitive, you guys.
I am very competitive. That is true. It's okay. It's fine.
All right. With that,
wrap up.
The wrap up is if you can, maybe we should do a pop quiz to a listener and be like, if you can answer all these questions right, you'll get some swag in the mail.
Ooh. Okay.
I'll have to think about this.
Pop quiz.
Pop quiz.
Isn't a pop quiz you're supposed to ask the questions on the fly?
Well.
Okay, pop quiz.
Okay.
We're going to ask questions that have to do with the episode.
Yes. What is the soda that we both drink?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like strategy things, but okay.
Okay.
How does Serena really feel about advisory and people, what they say in the space?
I know. got a little bit passionate.
Yeah, you did. I saw it on your face too. I'm like, I love it. You look hot when you act like that. Okay, what's another one? What was the thing that was going off in the middle of the episode? And how many times did it ring? Oh. Well, how many times did it ring? They have to know that.
Yeah, okay.
Because we said it was a certain hour.
Yeah. Okay, and then how did we meet? That's a throwback
was a
to
part one.
It doesn't matter. They have to have listened to both of these episodes.
But that's what I'm saying. They have to go back to part 1.
Yeah.
So you have to know, how did we meet? I think we did a really long story.
Yeah.
So you can condense it. Bullet points. Remember, people, we like bullet points.
Yeah. So how are they going to get this swag?
Oh,
you know
us.
what you guys should do, actually, is you should put it in a podcast review.
Oh, no, we can't do that. That'd be weird. Oh my gosh, do it. Fine, YOLO. You only live once, people. That's what Drake says. Okay, put it in a review and be like, I really love this episode. They are so much fun together.
Yeah, you have to actually review the episode and please give it 5 stars.
And then at the bottom be like, here's my answers.
Yeah.
And then you have to screenshot it.
And email
it to either one of us, because we'll share it with each other. So either support@workflowqueen.com or support@ambitiousbookkeeper.com.
We've confused them thoroughly so hard that no one's going to do this.
But I have a feeling that they're going to keep up with us, because at this point, if they've made it to part 2 this far in, they have ping-ponged alongside us.
Yes.
That they are ping-ponging
and you
with
belong
us.
here. You are in.
This is your space.
Yeah.
If you've made it this far, you are one of us. You have come to the dark side.
Sounds really culty.
Yeah. Well, we talked about throwing babies off roofs and stuff. I didn't say roofs. I said the ledge. When I was talking about sacrificing people, I did not say it in a bad way. So if you caught the end of that, please, for context, listen to the episode, because I don't need to be canceled.
All right. And with that concludes this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Alyssa, for playing along with my silly little game.
And thank you for being here in real life with me.
And making you money.
I'm going to make you scream later to watch scary movies, people. For scary movies, we're going to watch scary movies. I'm going to make her scream, because that's what she does when she watches scary movies.
Can we just fade this out?
Yeah,
all right,
bye.
Thank you to everyone who helps make this podcast possible. Content and interviews are produced by me, Serena Show. Our intro and outro music is written and performed by my brother, Ian Gilliam. Editing is also by Ian, using his awesome sound engineering skills along with Descript software. Hosting and publishing is by Buzzsprout, and you can check out the show notes for links to all of these amazing resources and resources mentioned in the episode.
Be ambitious.